Good morning, everyone. I hope you slept well last night, and more importantly, generally sleep well, because later in this talk, we'll be looking at the significant health risks of not getting enough sleep. I will, though, first begin by explaining why we sleep. I'll then move on to outlining the two main ways in which we sleep and why they are important, before discussing what constitutes the right amount of sleep. After highlighting some of the health dangers of not getting enough sleep and the significance of the problem, I will conclude by giving some simple suggestions to help the sleep-deprived amongst us sleep better. Okay, so we spend about a third of our lives asleep. But have you ever asked yourself why? This is a question that has puzzled scientists for centuries. Well, most now accept that the main reason we sleep is because it is an evolutionary strategy that emerged to refresh or recharge our brains and the rest of our bodies. As a result, sleep helps us to maintain normal levels of cognitive skills, such as those related to memory and innovative and flexible thinking. But beyond knowing that, there is still much to be discovered. Although you might think that the brain switches off when we sleep, this is actually not true. The brain is always very busy while we're asleep, and it generates two main types of sleep: slow wave sleep, SWS, and rapid eye movement, or REM. The orange and yellow colours you see in these brain scans indicate high levels of brain activity in both types of sleep. About 80% of our sleep is of the SWS variety. It is characterised by slow brain waves, slow deep breathing, and relaxed muscles. There is now strong evidence to show that such slow deep sleep is important for creating long-term memories. Rapid eye movement sleep typically accounts for the other 20% of our sleeping time. The first REM stage usually begins about 70 to 80 minutes after we fall asleep. Although we are not conscious at this time, the brain is again very active, often even more so than when we're actually awake. This is the period when most of our dreams occur. As we dream, our eyes move around very quickly, hence the name REM, and our breathing and blood pressure rise. But at the same time, our bodies are immobile. We're effectively paralyzed. Like slow wave sleep, REM sleep is also thought to play a key role in memory and learning. But how much sleep do we need? Although 8 hours is often quoted as the magic number for a good night's sleep, nobody seems to know where this number came from. In fact, the ideal sleeping time varies between people and at different stages in our lives. According to the US National Sleep Foundation, the ideal amount to sleep is 7 to 9 hours for adults and 8 to 10 hours for teenagers. And younger children require much more, with newborn babies needing up to 17 hours each day. Unfortunately, not necessarily at times aligned with their parents. What is really important, though, is not just the quantity of the sleep, but the quality. So what are the health dangers of not getting enough good quality sleep? Well, it is now widely believed that a lack of sleep can have serious long-term health consequences. Shift workers have attracted the interest of researchers because they are known to be particularly prone to sleep deprivation. In one study, it was found that working nights raised the risk of a heart attack or stroke by an incredible 41%. Last year, another study found that night shift workers were 29% more likely to develop obesity or become overweight. It is thought that sleep loss may increase the risk of obesity because chemicals and hormones that play a key role in controlling appetite and weight gain are released during sleep. To make matters worse, a lack of sleep has also been implicated in a number of mental health problems, including depression. But just as we are learning that sleep is vital for so many aspects of our health, it seems that we are generally failing to get enough of it. A recent report by the UK's Royal Society for Public Health says British people get an hour less than they need each night. A recent survey also found that 17% of people in the US have been diagnosed with a sleep disorder, and a third of adults experience symptoms of insomnia. In other words, they are unable to sleep at all. Incidentally, the current world record for the longest time without sleep is 11 days, and this was set by teenage research participant Randy Gardner, who you see here, probably towards the end of the experiment. And this was part of what was probably a very unethical study back in 1965. 4 days into the experiment, Randy started hallucinating. In other words, he was seeing things that weren't there. And later on, he was convinced that he was a famous footballer. He definitely wasn't. So what can you do to make sure that you get a good night's sleep? There are 4 main things that you can do to help yourself sleep better. Firstly, it's important to go to bed and wake up at approximately the same time every day. Okay, not just during weekdays. You should also keep the temperature of your bedroom relatively cool, ideally at about 18 degrees centigrade. It's much easier to fall asleep in a room that is too cool rather than one that is too hot. Thirdly, you should also remember to turn off all the lights before you go to bed, including any computer screens or phone screens. Lastly, try to avoid drinking any caffeine, tea or coffee after 1 p.m. and definitely no alcohol after 5 to 6 p.m. For many people, this would be much easier said than done. So to finish, do remember that making sure that you get enough good quality sleep is a way to improved health, a fact that is well worth waking up to. Although the great American inventor Thomas Edison once claimed that sleep was a waste of time, even the greatest thinkers can sometimes be wrong.